Hey guys, before the podcast starts, I want to give a massive shout out to TBC Live for sponsoring the channel. Guys, TBC Live is a fantastic way to interact with fans and content creators like yourself who are on the app. And what you do on the app is you interact with people and you predict the outcome of the games, whether it be a try in the next 3 minutes, or someone's kicks a 40-20, whatever it may be, man. There's a banter chat. It's a good vibe. It's a good time. Download TBC Live today on the App Store or Google Play Store, depending on what mobile device you have. Anyway, shout out to TBC Live. Let's start the podcast. Play the intro. I said play the intro. Damn it, play the intro. Listen here, George. Listen here carefully. I told you to play the intro on time. How many times do I have to tell you? You stuffed up last night. Listen here, buddy. Listen here carefully. Get the damn intro on time, or we're going to be taking you to head office, and you don't want to deal with head office. Let me tell you. All right. Thanks, George. Lads, how we going? Welcome back to episode 4 of the Nfa Podcast. Hope you guys are all doing well. On this Wednesday night, it is currently 7:03 p.m., August 28, 2024. I'm here as always, Warriors NRL Fanatics on the show as always. Mr. Warriors NRL Fanatics, good to have you on again. How are you, my friend? You are currently on mute.
Yeah, I'm doing actually doing okay. Unfortunately, I've come down with a bit of the flu this week, so not good at all. So hopefully you don't hear me coughing on the stream too much. But besides that, I'm doing okay. Hope everyone is doing well. In the chat, it's good to be back on the podcast again. And look, there's of course plenty of things to talk about. A lot of talking points in the NRL world at the moment.
There's a lot to talk about. I'm just reading the live chat. George, let me tell you something about George. He's a very, very slow worker, and if he doesn't get his act together, head office is going to be on his tail, buddy. So, yeah. Well, was I joking? You be the judge at home. But hello to the live chat as always. Hello. I hope everyone's well. G'day, Luke, Lockie, Josh, Jason, Rita. Who else we got in here? We got the OG, the moderator, CJ. Hello, Mox. Hope you're well, brother. Sports music is God. Everyone that's here, Gene, Rishi, everyone that's rolling in. I hope you're all doing well tonight. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you all for tuning in once again. There's a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot of stuff going on at the moment, but let's get into it, Fanatics. We're not going to waste any more time. Let's get into the show. And mate, some breaking news yesterday, which made me drop to the ground. I think it was yesterday, or I heard about it. Kyle Feldt signs with St. Helens. He so what day was it? I think it was last Wednesday. Semi Valame re-signed with the Cowboys alongside Jay Clifford, and obviously a week later, it's confirmed that Kyle Feldt will be heading over to England, heading over to St. Helens, one of the powerhouse clubs over in the Super League. When I heard he was leaving, I got the email, and then obviously it came out not long later after that. What's your take on this? Kyle Feldt signing with St. Helens, bro. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I was really, it came out of the blue, this bit of news actually, and I really thought, I didn't really think that he was actually going to leave the Cowboys. I thought he was going to finish his career there. And now it's come out these signed with St. Helens, which is I think is a good signing for St. Helens. Obviously they're not doing too greatly this year. At the moment, I think they are just in the finals at the moment.
They're just in the top 6. They have had a lot of injuries,
so
I got some excuses, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's a good signing, I think. And look for the Cowboys. He's been a great ambassador for the Cowboys. A great player. And obviously he'll be remembered for that try in 2015 when the Cowboys were like had to score to level the game, and he scored that try, and it was one of the Cowboys' greatest moments. I know some people say the first and drop goal, but that try actually got them back in it. So yeah, he's
Yeah.
been one of the Cowboys' greatest wingers, I think, for me, of all time. Some people might disagree with me on that one, but that's what I think. But yeah, I think it's a good, solid signing for the St. Helens. He's an experienced player. Obviously, he's been around for quite a while now,
Mm,
so I think
yeah.
he's a solid get for St. Helens. He'll definitely do. I think he'll do all right over there in the Super League, playing for St. Helens. So yeah, I think it's a good pickup.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie. When I heard the news that Kyle Felt was leaving the Cowboys, I was really upset and I was disappointed. But when you have a look at Kyle Felt's age, when you have a look at um,
Yeah.
his current speed, it probably isn't as quick as what he once was. It's
Mm,
understandable. And you got to remember too, Kyle Felt wasn't forced out of the club. He left on his own terms. It was his decision. He was off contract, and he pretty much just said, "You know what? I might go over to England. I want to finish my career over in the Super League, and come back to Townsville after I'm all done." And obviously, he will retire in England, and he'll come back to the Cowboys and live in Townsville and whatnot, and probably get a job at the club in some role, maybe as an ambassador of some sort. But look, man, as a Cowboy supporter, I'm really devastated that he's leaving. But the one thing that I am happy about, I'm glad he's not going to another NRL club. I would have, I reckon there would have been a protest if he was going to another club. So can understand what Caulfield's doing. I think it's a good move for him and his family, and fair play to him. To be honest, he's had a great NRL career. He's had a great NRL career, and he's always been, you know, top 5 or top 7 in the top try scoring record most seasons. So he's always up there. Like I remember a couple of years ago, he actually nearly won top try scorer. He was just a bit off. So I think he's only 5 or 6 away now, but it's probably too late in the season now to be top try scorer. But oh, excuse me, he's always been consistent. He's always been good, and definitely, definitely a big loss for the Cowboys, bro. Definitely a big loss. You
yeah,
can't,
yeah, he did. He
you
definitely
can't,
is. Yeah.
you can't replace Kyle Felt. Like I know people are going to say, "Oh, yeah, you can." The young generation will overtake
Mm.
it. Well, yes, but there will never be another Kyle Felt. There never will be, in my opinion. Anything else you want to add on Kyle Felt?
No, I just like I said, he's been, a great servant for the Cowboys for a number of years, and obviously all the
Yeah,
best to him at St. Helens over in the Super League, and I'm sure the Cowboys will do something in memory of his last game, in
tomorrow night.
in
Yeah,
Jersey. So I'm sure they'll do some sort of, like they do with a lot of, with NRL clubs, they do with their departing players. They do a thing at the end, and of course
yeah,
on grand final day, he'll be remembered on grand final day as well. So,
100%. All right, let's
mhm.
move on, and we're going to talk about something that a lot of rugby league fans were very upset about last week. Referee
Mm,
blunders in round 25. My God. My God. We saw some absolute shockers last week,
yep.
and there's a lot that we can talk about. Like, oh my God. Okay, I'll go over a couple of them. Manly versus Tigers Thursday
Mm,
night last week. Hamoli Olakawatu, very ridiculous sin bin. Friday night, Stephen Crichton, shoulder to the head of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck gets knocked out. Category 1 HIA, ruled out for this week's game against Cronulla. And Stephen Crichton was not sin binned. He was only handed a one game suspension, which was just very lucky. Should have been more. Should have been more. Should have got 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Very lucky there. What else? You had the the Cam Murray sin bin, which look, he did hit him in the head, Tyson Rizzo. He did knock him out, but in saying that, I don't think it was as forceful as what Stephen Crichton did. Obviously, looking back on a couple of replays and having a look back at the footage, I think Cam Murray's sin bin was probably the right call, but a 3-game suspension for that is ridiculous considering Crichton only got a week. Why does Murray get 3? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The one that they got right was the Jared Hargraves one. His one was terrible on the weekend against the Titans. They got that one correct, but I'm sure there's a couple that I've forgotten to talk about. But Fanatics, bro, what did you make of all of last week's drama?
Well, I labelled last week's round a round of just absolute shocking blunders, referee blunders. I just feel
Yeah.
like that the inconsistency was absolutely shocking.
Was.
The first one I want to talk about is the Crichton one because it had
Oh,
the Crichton run, Stephen Crichton on RTS Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, was. How that wasn't a sin bin is, it was an absolute joke, right? It was an absolute joke.
yeah.
Should have been in the bin for that. And he should have been suspended for. Well, he's lucky to only be suspended for what, 1 game. It
Yeah,
should
he
have
got
been at
one
least
game.
two.
One game.
Should have been at least two games or 3 games. In my opinion, because I feel like when you take a player out for a whole game and a whole season, there's no punishment just for 1 game. And that
Yeah.
it's consistency. And you talk about Cameron Murray, that's another one, which I think it was a sin bin. That's the correct call. But if you're going to sin bin that one and not sin bin Stephen Crichton,
That's the
um,
problem.
that's where it's really absolutely wrong. It's just not. It's things like this, that annoy a lot of NRL fans. The consistency of the calls. And
Well, you know what
that's the
the other
problem.
problem is?
Yeah,
You know what the other
yeah.
problem is? Like, Graham Annesley comes out on his Monday briefings and he had to
Oh,
apologise about the Stephen Crichton one, which was the wrong call. We all knew. We all knew the moment he wasn't sin bin on Friday night that, yep, Monday, Annesley will come out. He'll apologise. Do you think the Warriors give a shit about the apology on Monday when it happened on Friday night? Like, if I'm Andrew Webster and I'm the Warriors, I'd be absolutely fuming. Now,
mm,
yes, he got 1 week, but I don't think 1 week's enough because you look at the charges. Cam Murray got a grade 2. He went to the judiciary last night trying to get it down to a grade 1. It didn't work out. It stayed at a grade 2. He got 3 weeks. Murray's not going to play again this year. As for Stephen Crichton does the exact same thing. He knocks a bloke out, just like what Cam Murray did, yet Cam Murray's going to get longer time. Now, I know Cam Murray's been suspended a couple of times in the past, and his track record probably isn't the greatest, but my God, if you compare the two incidents together, then, like, come on, bro. You gotta make them the same suspension. They're very similar. Oh my goodness. Like, I get every incident is different, but the same thing happened. Roger got knocked out. He's not playing this week. Frizzell got knocked out. He's not playing this week. So it's just crazy to me, bro. It really is. Crazy.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's just crazy because this is the thing that you worry about leading into the finals, and if one of these calls costs the team come finals time, it's gonna be fans are gonna go off their heads even more. Like you know,
Yeah.
especially your coach, your player, you're gonna be going off if a call like that
Now,
goes against you.
Fanatics, I'll say
Mm,
this as well. Victor Radley did a very careless high tackle. He got a
mm,
$3,000 fine. With his track record,
yep.
Radley was extremely lucky not to get binned as well. And then you look at Jesse Ramian, bit like the Hargraves one, they probably got the Ramian one right. Ramian obviously won't play this weekend against the Warriors. I got that one right, but they're just not consistent at all, bro. not consistent whatsoever. Um, there was one on Friday night. I think it was Parramatta in Brisbane. Was it Campbell Gillard? I can't remember who it was. There was one on Friday night that was shocking as well in the Broncos Parramatta game. But my God, this is what I'm worried about, bro. We are literally 2 weeks away from the NRL final series, where there's going to be every game is going to be very important, and there's a lot at stake. The referees don't get it right this week and next week. I am going to be worried about a team potentially getting rorted in the finals by referee officials or the bunker.
Yeah.
It's a worry. It's a big worry. And then you're going to have Graham Asley come out on Monday morning. Oh, look, in the 28th minute, this player should have been sin bin. And then it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. Any other referee blunders that we missed for round 25 that you want to go over?
No, and I just want to say also, when they say minimum contact, like mitigated factors, or like
Oh, the
sort of stuff like
mitigation
that,
bullshit.
it's sort of stuff that annoys me as well. Like, and then
Bro,
yeah,
not every high tackle is a sin bin.
yeah,
Not every high tackle is a sin bin. I watch the Super League on a weekly basis. I watch at least 4 out of 6
yep,
games a week of Super League. And the sin bins over there for high tackles are on a whole new level, man. Like, it is actually getting bad. Like, it's a concern. I sent one to you the other day. I think I sent you a couple of them, and they weren't even barely even penalties. Some of them. So that their favorite term used to be forceful contact. Now they're going with this mitigation bullshit. Like, come on, man. Just because someone sticks out an arm to try and stop a line break doesn't always mean they should go to the sin bin, man. My God. Oh, the Tommy Makinson send off. Don't even start me on that one. My God. My goodness. This is the thing, fanatics. This is what I think the NRL forget. People forget that the NRL competition, National Rugby League, is a contact sport. There's going to be unfortunate head knocks. There's going to be unfortunate high shots that lead to concussions. That all of them should not be sin bins. Like, the ones that are intentionally bad and whatever, okay. But I don't think every high tackle is a sin bin. I don't think so. What do you reckon?
yeah. It's just they've got to, how they police it, of course, but you don't want them to overdo it. Like, if it's a good solid tackle, you don't want to see someone go off for a good solid tackle.
Yeah,
But like I'm saying, like last week throughout the games, a lot of them were tackles. Majority of them were good tackles. Some of them were just tackles that should not have happened and should have
exactly.
been binned, like the Crichton one. But
Yeah,
obviously, yeah, you want to make sure that actually the tackle is the right tackle. But it's not like you don't want to bin them for a tackle that's a good solid hit. Like that's what I think. Like,
yeah,
you want to make sure it's consistent. You want to get it right. So
yeah. That's it. That's it. All right, moving on. Now, Warriors and NRL fanatics. There's a very strong chance and
yep.
possibility that the Bulldogs are going to finish 5th or 6th and get a home final. If they do get a home final, should they be playing it at a cool stadium, or should they be going to their suburban home in Belmore Sports Ground? What's your take on this? Dogs home final, a call or Belmore?
Look, I think if you're going to give the Dogs a home ground advantage, if they do get that home final, which is most likely to happen, then they should be playing it at Belmore. I think they should be
What?
playing it at Belmore. And I
What?
know some people will say, look, it's a small ground, like it doesn't hold the match capacity. I understand that. Um, But if you look at the Warriors, for an example, last year there was talks that the Warriors would be moved out of Go Media Mount Smith Stadium to play at Eden Park, which is a much bigger capacity ground. This is actually similar. A core is a lot bigger of a ground. I understand that, and you get more people and bums and seats. I understand that, but with Belmore, you get the atmosphere. The crowd atmosphere. It's small. Don't get me wrong, but that's what I think I love because when the Bulldogs play at Belmore, they get you get that experience, right? You get that experience of being at your home ground. It feels more of a home ground playing at Belmore than it would feel like playing at a core. Um, but look, I think they could fill a core stadium. Don't get me wrong. I think they would fill out a core stadium, but I just wouldn't have that same vibe as a Belmore. That's my opinion. But
Well, I'm going to disagree with you on this one because, in my opinion, it should be a core stadium. That's where they
uh,
play majority of their home games. That they take 2 or 3 games a year to Belmore, and I think that's a great thing for the Dogs to do that. But
mm,
people are just going to go out there and say, "Oh, well, if the Sharks can play at Shark Park in front of 12,000 fans, why can't the Bulldogs do the same at Belmore, which holds like 17 or 20,000 fans, somewhere between that number?" Um, I think it should be a core. I think you'd get more people in. I think you'd get obviously the atmosphere wouldn't be as good as Belmore, but the Bulldogs play most of their home games at a core. I think that's where they got to go, man. Because, like for example, if you get Bulldogs versus Dragons week 1 at a core stadium, you're looking at potentially 40,000 fans. If you get Bulldogs versus
mm,
Manly week 1, you're looking at probably 45, 50,000 fans, something like that. But if you play at Belmore, obviously you're probably going to get 90% Dogs fans. So that's going to be half the problem. How are you going to get the away supporters in with that situation? Like, it's just not going to happen. I remember a couple of years ago, Sharks finished second and Cowboys come third. They played each other at Shark Park. I wasn't happy about that. I wanted that game to be moved to Accor or Allianz so we can get more of our fans to the game. But the Sharks were in denial about it. Same thing happened last year when the Sharks played the Roosters at week 1 of the finals in the Shire. All the Roosters people wanted them to move it to Allianz. Roosters were like, the Sharks were like, fuck off. We're not going to your home ground. And then someone suggested they should move it to our core stadium or move it to Combank. No one had a bar of it. They ended up playing at Shark Park. But I think you got to get as many people into the ground as you can. Like, if the Bulldogs host the Cowboys, for example, at a core week 1 of the finals, we are going to have a fair chunk of fans flying down for sure, including myself. But I think Belmore they play 1 or 2 games there a year. A core stadium's their natural home now. I think it's got to be a core. I think it just has to be. I think it has to be. And the other thing too, Fanatics, is I'll say this. Wouldn't you rather play at a core anyway? Because that's where the grand final is. Wouldn't you want to get a feel for that stadium and everything that comes around the ground? Like, wouldn't you want to get a bit of an idea of what you're looking at on grand final day if you get there?
yeah, I mean, I can see, like, of course, you get like that feel of a
Mm,
grand final at a core stadium. I can
yeah.
see that, like, being a good point there. But like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like, if you get a core stadium is for the grand final. I feel like it's for the grand final.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just my point. Like, I feel like it's for the grand final. If you're gonna play a finals game, yeah, look, Allianz Stadium, I think would be all right. Would be good.
Yeah.
But leaving a core, I think leaving a core to the big game. Yeah.
Well, I know it won't happen because Parramatta are not in the finals, but Combank Stadium's available to be used. You can use like, bro, all right, I'll ask you this. Say we get week 2 of the finals, right? Say the Sharks get beat in week 1. Week 2 of the finals. Say you got Cronulla versus Manly or Cronulla versus North Queensland or whatever, would you have that game at Allianz? Would you have it at Combank, a Core? History says it'd go to Allianz or something, but you think that they'd go to Allianz, wouldn't you?
The Dogs or
The
the
Sharks,
Roosters?
the
The
Sharks,
Sharks.
bro.
Oh, the
Because
Sharks. Yeah, look, I think
yeah,
of course, if the Sharks were hosting the finals, I think they'd play it at Allianz. I don't
I
think
do
they'd
too.
play it at PointsBet Stadium. I don't know why they played at PointsBet last year.
Yeah,
You know,
look,
I
I'll
just
say
don't
this. I'll
understand
say
that.
this. I'll say this. I wasn't going to bring this up, but
Yeah.
the Sharks may finish top four, but they can't be
Mm,
playing finals at a construction site stadium that only fits 12,000 fans. I know people are going to go in the comments and are going to be saying in the live chat, oh, but they earned the right to get a home final. Okay, sure they did. But 12,000 fans, you know how many people you're denying into the stadium, and you know how much money you'd be losing. Take it to Allianz or a Core. You're going to get a decent amount of fans there. Like, come on, Brent. Come on, man. Come on, man. But anyway, we disagree on the Dogs, Core or Belmore, but that's fine. I'm glad we have a different opinion on that. Now, moving on to Craig Bellamy. He has been criticised for resting players.
mm,
Now, the media's had a field day with this all week. We knew it was happening. I think it was last Saturday night after they beat Dolphins. Bellamy said in the press conference that he's looking at resting some players and wants to get them all freshen up for finals because they are guaranteed to finish first and they can't finish lower than first, which is quite funny. But
yep.
if I'm in Melbourne's situation here, Fanatics, why would you rest? Why would you play anyone? I would rest every single one I could. Like,
Yeah. Well,
if you're gonna finish first, and the lowest you can finish is first, and you got to travel 4 hours to Townsville to take on a Cowboys side, why would you even play anybody at all? I would rest all my best
mm.
players. And Melbourne have pretty much done that. They're resting Hughes, Grant, list goes on and on. What's your take on this? Bellamy criticised for resting players. Is it a good thing to rest players or no?
I reckon that the media has made this a big deal and it should have. I don't think they
Mm,
should have made this such a big deal. Like happens every year. This has been
yeah.
happening for so many seasons now, where a team that finishes top has an opportunity to rest players, and because Buzz Rothfield comes out in NRL
Oh,
360 and makes a comment about it, he has a go about it. You know, that's the thing. Like, look, if my team was in that same position, if my Warriors were sitting top of the ladder and already wrapped up the minor premiership, resting players in the last round, playing for nothing for the
well,
last couple of
second last
weeks.
round. Second last
Yeah,
round,
second
yeah.
last round. I'd be happy with them to rest players. You know,
So would I.
I would be resting all my players and making sure they're fit and ready for finals for week one.
Bro,
So
that's what I
I don't.
mean. Like, having the buy, having a top four, locked in for top four, you might as well rest players. Like, if you can't finish higher, if you're
Yeah,
locked in the top four, you might as well start resting players. You might as bloody well.
exactly.
What do you think about like obviously the media are having a bit of a field day with this, but
Yeah.
some people were saying that it's not a good look for the game and blah blah blah, and
Oh,
players, fans have traveled so many hours, blah blah blah. It's like fans are still going to go to the game regardless. Like,
mm,
if you're a Melbourne fan, you might be a little bit upset because of everything that's going on here, but it's part of the business. Like, if you're in this position, you're doing the same thing. You're resting players. I'm doing it. If I'm locked in the top four with 2 rounds to go, I'm definitely resting a couple of my best players because we know how important it is this time of year to get a week off. It is absolutely crucial. It's crucial as. Like, when you look at the NRL draw when it comes out every year, and you're looking at when you have a bye, you really want to have a bye in the last 4 rounds. That way you can freshen up before the final series. And Melbourne are practically doing that right now. So I got no problem with Melbourne doing this at all. No problem. Anything else you want to add to the Bellamy thing?
No, I just think the media need to, stop overreacting to it because every year it's the same. It's the same thing. Like Penrith last year, they finished top of the ladder.
Yeah.
You hear the same old thing every season. Like, oh, why are they risking players? Like they're
Why
disrespecting the
not?
comp and all that sort of stuff. But Melbourne have a right to do it. They have a right to do it. They finished as the minor premiers, and so they should. Rest players. It's all about the finals. You don't want injuries going to the first week of the finals.
Mate,
So
I remember last year, I think it was second last round, Penrith played Parramatta. Penrith rested heaps of players. So
yeah,
it happens. It's not the first time that
yeah,
happened, and it probably won't be the last. Moving on, some news that, well, I don't think it's been announced officially, but it will be. Josh Schuster set to sign with Souths on a 1-year deal. Now, from what I understand, it's a 1-year deal. Wayne Bennett wants to get the best out of him, and it's only going to be $300,000. So it's a 1-year deal. It's not a lot of money with the salary cap going up and everything involved in that. Josh Schuster, Fanatics, we know he's a talent. He's got the attributes. He's got the talent to be a very good NRL player. Obviously, it just hasn't worked out at Manly and
yeah.
all that sort of stuff. But as CJ said in the chat, he's only 23 years old. If anyone's going to save his career and give him a lifeline, it's Wayne Bennett. Do you like this idea of Souths getting Schuster on a 1-year deal?
I'll be completely honest. I think he's got massive potential. Don't get me wrong. He's a good young, solid player. When he's on, he can be, well, he could be one of top 10 maybe back rows in the game.
Could be.
But he's yet to find that potential, right? He's yet to find that potential at the Seagulls. So look, it's only a 1-year deal. It's not confirmed yet, but it's apparently a 1-year deal. And I think Wayne is definitely a coach that can definitely get the best out of him. We know that when Wayne's coach, he gets a lot of respect from a lot of players. So
Yeah.
I think being under Wayne, will give him the guidance he needs to maybe show his potential as real best footy. If it's only a 1-year deal, I think it's not bad. I think it's not a bad pickup for Souths. It all depends on, of course, how he performs. If he can perform very well, and Wayne can get the best out of him, maybe he can get another couple of years added to his contract. So, yeah, I'm just interested to see how it all plans out. I'm really interested to see how it all plans
You know
out
what?
for him. Yeah.
You know what? In the past,
Yep.
I've been very critical of Josh Schuster. I used to be very, very critical of him. But you know what? He's had a few chances, hasn't worked out, whatever. Now he's obviously been looking for a club for like 3 or 4 months now, and Wayne's going to try and save him. I'm actually going to back him in. I'm going to give Josh Schuster a chance. I'm going to jump on the Josh Schuster bandwagon. It's like you're at the roulette table and you've got to pick red or you got to pick black. And you have to make a choice. And Josh Schuster is let's say Josh Schuster is the color black, and I am selecting the color black, and I am picking Josh Schuster to rip in and get fitter and lose a couple of kilos, and Wayne Bennett is going to save his career. It's going to happen. And then what I think is going to happen, he's going to have a decent season. He might come off the bench, play, 20, 25 minutes in the back row on the left edge, alongside, your Cody Walkers and Jack White at left center and whatnot. I think he's going to come on that edge and really do a job. And I honestly believe when he's off contract at the end of the season, I think he will owe South Sydney his services once more, and he may get a 2-year deal. Who knows? I think Wayne's going to fix his career up. Now, I will say this. If Wayne Bennett
Yep.
can't fix Josh Schuster, outside of maybe Craig Bellamy or a Trent Robinson or even an Ivan Cleary, there isn't many other people that could save him. Wayne Bennett, he's the old dog. He's been around for a long time. Wayne knows best. Wayne will fix him. I promise you right now. Josh Schuster next season is going to be in the top 5 most improved players. He's going to be good. They're going to fix him right up. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. If he doesn't get it right, well, I can't see him staying in the NRL. He might have to go over to England and try and do something over there. But I think he'll do really well next year. I think under Wayne, I think, with that Souths team, they will be a lot better next season. I think he will absolutely thrive. So I'm backing him in. All right, moving on to some news that we've heard a little bit about, but not too much. But we'll just go over it quickly. Regan Campbell-Gillard to the Dragons. Now, the Cowboys were going to sign him, but we wanted to give him a 2-year deal, but he wants a 3-year deal. So that's fallen cold, and the Cowboys have pulled out on Campbell-Gillard. So it's looking – he did meet with the Dragons from what I understand, and I believe he will be heading to the Dragons. Do you think that'll be a good signing for the Red V?
Yeah, I think it would be a good signing. Obviously, what he brings is plenty of experience to the Dragons lineup. I think the Dragons are heading in. I think they're actually heading in the right direction. I think they
I do
definitely
too.
are.
Yeah.
I feel like this is probably the first time in a while I've seen the Dragons actually make the step up in terms of trying to get their team, the potential that they want to be. Like, they want to be a finals team every year. They want to be
They're
contending for
building
finals.
nicely.
So they're building. I think they're building very nicely, and Flanagan's doing a good job at the Dragons this year, and actually has proven me wrong. I didn't expect the Dragons to be doing this well.
No
At this point,
one thought they'd be going this good. Honestly, no one did.
No. So I think it's actually going to be a good pickup for him if it does happen. If he does go there, I think it's a solid pickup for him if it happens, because the Dragons definitely need a lot of experience, and Regan Campbell-Gillard brings that experience. So
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that the Eels are offloading him. I actually am surprised.
I am as well, but I think because of how much money he's on, I think he's on like $850, so he's on crazy money, which is whatever. But you know what? I think he will go to the Dragons. I think he will. I know there's a few NRL clubs that have come in late secretly, like the Tigers and the Bulldogs, and they're all trying to get in there and trying to steal him. But mate, good player, still playing well in a really bad Parramatta team, and get him in that Dragons forward pack with Jack DeBellin, who's been a workhorse all season. Guys like Francis Mollo, who's been solid this season as well. Hame Sele's had a disappointing year, but obviously he's a good player on his day as well. The Dragons, the Couchman brothers, they've got some very good young forwards coming through there. Jaden Sewer, Luciano Leilua, who else is there? Fatala Mariner. Like, they're building a really nice forward pack, the Dragons. So really, if it does happen, it'll be a really good buy for the Dragons. It really will. Hopefully they get him for the right money. And plus, Val Holmes is going there next year. So got Moses Cooley, Tyrell Sloan. They're building nicely, the Dragons. Fair play to them. They're on the up. Definitely on the up. Now, speaking of the Dragons, let's get into the 8th spot situation. Absolute chaos. The race for 8th spot. So, couple of scenarios here that we're going to go over. So, the Dragons. All the Dragons have to do is beat Parramatta this week, which they should. And then they have to win next week against Canberra. Dragons will play finals. That's all they got to do. Win their last 2 and they're in. Destiny is in their own hands. If they do slip up and the Broncos win against the Dolphins this week and they win next week, Broncos will be in the 8. Same thing with the Dolphins. If the Dragons slip up and drop a game, Dolphins win this week and beat the Knights, the Dolphins will play finals. Now, the other two scenarios, Newcastle Knights. If the Newcastle Knights win against the Titans, which you'd expect them to, they win this week. Say the Dolphins beat the Broncos and Dragons lose a game. Newcastle, all they'll have to do is beat the Dolphins next week, which could determine the 8th spot. Knights could get in. And then you got the Raiders. I don't even know how the Raiders are even a chance, but the Raiders are still a slim chance. They need a lot to go their way. The Raiders need to beat the Roosters, which is going to be very difficult. Then they need to beat the Dragons. And then they need Broncos to win, then Storm to beat Broncos next week. And the Knights will have to lose this week or next. So the Raiders one is very hard to see happening. But out of all those scenarios, Warriors and NRL Fanatics, who do you think gets that 8th spot right now?
Yeah, looking at the ladder, of course. Look, I think the Dragons have probably the finals in their hands.
Yeah.
Their destiny in their hands, because obviously they just need to win their next 2 games, and they've
they're
got
there.
Parramatta this week. So I know Parramatta. Look, their eyes will be on the following week. Really, I don't think because even if they win this week, the spoon battle is going to the last round. It's going to the last round regardless. So. You'd expect the Dragons to beat the Eels on Saturday. I know the Eels are at home, but you'd expect the Dragons to win that. And of course, with the Dolphins Broncos, look, it could be a big game, or it could be a game that really doesn't mean anything, because if the Dragons beat the Eels, and the Broncos and the Dolphins is purely not really a game that means anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
But look, I think at the moment I've got the Dragons, hanging on to that top 8 spot.
Yeah, me too.
But
you know what?
Look,
I'm going to say Dragons as well.
Yep.
But be wary of the Knights.
Right, yep.
That's who I'm worried about. I think the Knights have got a softer draw, man. Like, Newcastle are at home for their last 2 games. They got the Titans, who couldn't even win a game with 10-pin bowling at this stage. Let's be honest. They are in all sorts. And then I got the Dolphins at home, which would be a big game. But what were you saying before?
I was going to say that if there was one team that I think could upset the Dragons and jump into that 8th spot if the Dragons do slip up, is probably the Knights. I don't think the Broncos and the Dolphins are a chance of getting in. I think the team that's more likely to get in if the Dragons slip up is probably the Knights. So
I can't see the Broncos beating the Storm next week. I just can't see it. Unless Melbourne arrest a bunch of players. It's the only way it's happening. Dolphins, if Dolphins do beat the Broncos,
yep,
Dragons lose to Raiders and Dolphins knock off the Knights, then Dolphins could sneak in there. Now, if the Dragons manage to lose their last 2, which would be catastrophic for them, if Dragons lose their last 2, Dolphins and Knights both win this weekend, that Knights versus Dolphins game in the final round of the season on a Sunday afternoon, that could be for the 8th spot. There's a chance that could happen. That could happen. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm with you. I think Dragons will hang on to 8th. I think they will. But I'll tell you what, if they do get 8th spot, I can't see them doing anything great, but gee, if you're the Bulldogs, you'd be a little bit worried because, yes, the Bulldogs have flogged the Dragons twice this season, but it is very hard to beat the same team 3 times in the 1 year. That is not easy to do. That shit is difficult as. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I'm with you. I think Dragons will get 8th spot, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's get into the tips for round number 26 of the NRL, the second last round. It goes so quickly. It's absolutely insane. So we'll go through the games, and for Warriors and Fanatics, bro, just give me a 1 to 12 or a 13 plus, and we start
Yep.
with tomorrow night, and it's the Cowboys versus the Storm up there in Townsville. Melbourne resting a bunch of players. For me, Cowboys win 13 plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys for me. But I'm actually, the Cowboys should win this 13 plus with
Yeah.
the players that the Storm have out. But I'll just be a little bit more conservative, Nick. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cowboys, but I'm gonna go 1 to 12. Yeah, 1 to 12 for me.
All right. Friday night,
Yep.
6 o'clock. Probably the best game of the weekend. Apparently, 40,000 tickets have been sold for this.
Mm.
Bulldogs v Manly. What a game this is going to be. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, this would be a great game. Looking forward to it. It's for me. I'll go with the Dogs, but I'm not writing Manly off. I think Manly have definitely got a good chance of winning, but I'll go the Dogs here. Just 1 to 12 for me.
I'll go the Bulldogs 1 to 12 as well, but I'm telling you, that's going to be a cracking game, that one. 8 o'clock on Friday night, Penrith versus Souths. Poor Souths. They're going to play Penrith after losing 2 in a row. I think Penrith win this 30 plus.
Yeah, Panthers 13 plus, of course, because
Yeah.
they still want to make sure they finish in the top two. So I'll
It's
go
going to be a long night for
Yeah,
Souths. Long
Penrith
night.
13 plus. Yeah.
Saturday, 3 o'clock from Combank. We got Parramatta versus St. George. For me, St. George Dragons win and win well. They have to win.
Yeah, Dragons have got to win this game. Unless it puts a lot of pressure on them. So I'll go with the Dragons here. Dragons 13 plus for me.
They should be winning that comfortably.
Yeah.
Battle of Brisbane, Dolphins and Broncos. Loser goes home. Winner stays alive. What do you reckon about this one? I think it's nearly sold out too.
I'm gonna go Dolphins.
Are
I'm
you?
gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go Dolphins 1 to 12.
Oh, I'll go the Broncos. I think the Broncos will get them. It won't be a whole lot in it. Probably 1 to 12. Just looking at the tickets as well, they've sold 50,000 tickets. There's not many left. So
Wow.
big crowd expected Saturday night up there. 7:35 Saturday night from PointsBet out at Cronulla there.
Yeah.
The Sean Johnson Cup, Sharks versus Warriors. This will be a very emotional game for you with Sean Johnson's playing his last game.
Yeah, it definitely will be. It's going to be a bit of a tough one for us. Of course, well, they all are tough now, but look, I'll
Yeah.
probably say head over heart this time. I'm going to go Sharks. Yeah, unfortunately,
Oh,
but yeah, hate to say it. Hope I'm wrong, but I think the Sharks will win. A lot to play for the Sharks as well. So
I'll go Sharks 13 plus, but I'll tell you what, I really hope the Warriors win this.
yeah.
Do it for SJ. Do it for SJ. And the Warriors have got a bit of motivation, man, playing for Sean Johnson. They could win. You never know.
Yeah,
Sunday, 2
hopefully.
o'clock from Newcastle. We've got the Knights and the Titans. Knights are alive still. Titans, they're probably just booking their flights overseas for a holiday trip, to be honest. Not that they deserve a holiday trip after the shit that they've dished out this season. But Knights, for me, I reckon 1 to 12. I don't know why. I'm a bit nervous to go 13 plus for the Knights. I'm going to go 1 to 12.
Yeah, and this is the thing with the Knights, that in games they usually you expect to win and win well. They generally slip up. So yeah, I'll
They
go
could
Knights,
drop
but
this. They could drop the
yeah,
ball in this game. They could
yeah,
drop
that's the
it.
problem. Yeah, I'll go Knights 1 to 12. I don't think it'll be 13 plus. Yeah,
I'll go 1 to 12 as well. I think it'll be closer than people think. Sunday, 4 o'clock from Allianz Stadium. We got the Roosters up against the Raiders, the Green Machine. Raiders are somehow still alive, but Roosters, man, you think at home they're just looking too good.
Roosters are in great form at the moment. They're in the top two, so they'll be looking to keep wanting to stay there. So yeah, Roosters for me. Roosters win well, I think.
Yeah,
Look,
okay.
they'll win well. Roosters for
I'm,
me.
I'm going to
13
go
plus.
Roosters 1-12. I think Raiders and Roosters, a little bit of an old rivalry going, back from the grand final 2019. But there's no love lost between the two coaches as well. So I'll go Roosters, but Roosters 1-12. Roosters 1-12. Yeah, anyway. All right, well, that might just about wrap things up. Fanatics, bro, it's been a great show, and appreciate you for coming on as always.
Yep, no worries, Nick. It's great to be on the podcast, and looking forward to this week's round. A lot of big games, important games for the making of the finals. So yeah, looking forward to
100%.
it. Should be good.
Well, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel and Warriors and NRL Fanatics channel. Anyway, see us tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.
See ya.